still some more that are growing, but we're going to use these and show you a couple of the different ways that we use acorn squash, both for ourselves and for our son. So we brought all of our acorn squash in, and there's still a lot behind me, but we're going to start processing a few of them for our son. I'm going to dice them up into smaller chunks, excuse him, and then you can either use a roaster pan, or I just made one out of foil and rolling the sides up. So we'll dice them up and put them in here, and I'll cover them with foil. And we're going to cook them on our Traeger grill. It's too hot to cook inside right now, and our grill is basically like a convection oven. We've done Christmas cookies and pies on it, so we'll go ahead and cook these on the grill, and I will show you how we do that. So you want to use a very sharp knife, and you're going to cut the squash in half. And then at this point you can either scrape the seeds out now, or you can dice it up smaller, and you just need a regular spoon. They scrape out pretty easy, but you want to make sure you get all of the soft part surrounding the seeds, so it will look like this. And then I will just quarter it in both directions. And then these pieces will get thrown in the boat, and we'll do the rest of it. So now that we have all of it cut up, we have been starting to experiment with some flavoring. So I'll do a little bit of pepper on these. You can do any spices that you want to get your kid used to them. And then I'm going to cover them, and we'll throw them on the grill, probably at like 425 or 450, and we'll cook them until they are soft to poke with a fork. So while our son's acorn squash is roasting on the grill outside, we're going to get started on what my husband and I are eating for dinner. We're doing a roasted stuffed acorn squash. We already chopped up the peppers and onions, so we're going to brown some ground beef. You can use any meat you want, whether it's sausage or ground turkey, or we have ground beef in the freezer, so that's what we're using. We're going to get the beef cooked, and then we'll pull it out of the skillet and fry up the peppers and onions, along with some salt, pepper, and either like a cayenne pepper or paprika. And when the squash on the grill is done, we'll get the squash for our boats ready, and I'll show you that then. So while the peppers and onions are cooking down, we'll go ahead and cut an acorn squash in half. And then we're going to scrape out the seeds. You want to make sure you get them nice and clean. once these are done, we'll drizzle them a little bit with some olive oil. Spread that around. And then these are going to be seasoned with a little bit of pepper. And this you'll just do to your own taste. And then either paprika, or we're using cayenne pepper, whatever spicy pepper seasoning you want, and a little bit of salt. And then these are going to go on the grill for 30 to 35 minutes, or until you can insert a fork or a knife into the flesh of the acorn squash and it's soft. So once the peppers and onions are cooked as much as you want them, we'll go ahead and add the meat back in. We like to leave our peppers and onions with a bit of a bite to them yet. We don't like them to be too soft. So I did not cook them quite as long as some people might. And then once you get the meat mixed back in, we're going to add the same seasonings that we put on the squash. So we'll do some salt, pepper, and paprika or cayenne pepper. And again, that's pretty much to your taste, whatever you prefer. In really easily, so they are done. Took a little longer than we expected, and we went ahead and took a break to do bedtime while they were cooking. We're going to go ahead and put the halved acorn squash that we prepped for the stuffed squash on a baking sheet, and we're going to throw those on the grill now for 30 to 35 minutes or so. Most likely we'll have them for lunch instead of supper tonight, but we'll go ahead and get those thrown on while these cool, and then when we can handle these with our bare hands, I'll show you how we're going to save them for our son. Okay, for our son's squash, half of it we're going to take the skin off of as best as we can, and we'll just leave the squash in large chunks like this, and we'll give that to him to practice eating with his finger foods and give him a different texture to play with. And then the other half we're going to put into a bowl, and I'm going to mash it up to do more of a puree kind of food, to mix in with some of his other fruits and veggies that we will spoon feed him. Okay, so these are done. You can see that they are easy to poke into. So we're going to go ahead and put our meat and peppers and onions into the boats. As much as you'd like. And then we'll top these with Parmesan cheese. I'm using a grated Parmesan cheese. If you use like a shredded, you can throw them back on the grill or back in the oven until it's melted. But that is it, so they are ready to eat then. Okay, so I got the rest of this pulled off of the skins, so I'm just going to mash it up in a bowl. And then I will freeze it in some of our ice cube trays, and they will be ready to feed. As you can see behind me, I still have quite a bit to do. We'll probably do more of the stuffed squash bowls for lunches this week, and I'm sure we'll give some of it away to our neighbors because we are a little overrun with squash at the moment. But that is how we are processing all of it this time. So thanks for watching, and be sure to give us a like.